Federal judge dismisses Trump administration's lawsuit against Illinois sanctuary policies. A major legal showdown over immigration enforcement just took a dramatic turn, and the implications could ripple nationwide. In a sweeping decision, U.S. District Judge Lindsay Jenkins dismissed the Trump administration's lawsuit against Illinois, Cook County, and the city of Chicago, which had challenged their so-called sanctuary city laws. These local policies, designed to limit cooperation with federal immigration authorities, have long been a flashpoint in the national debate over immigration. Judge Jenkins ruled that the federal government lacked the legal standing to overturn these local and state laws. She emphasized that the policies in question do not interfere with immigration and customs enforcement ICE operations or violate the rights of private contractors working with ICE. In her words, the sanctuary laws simply reflect a choice not to participate in civil immigration enforcement, a choice protected by the Constitution. But here's where it gets controversial. The judge also declared that forcing local law enforcement to assist in federal deportation efforts would violate the 10th Amendment, which protects states from being commandeered by the federal government. This constitutional argument strikes at the heart of federalism and could set a precedent for similar cases across the country. The lawsuit, filed earlier this year by the Trump administration, accused Illinois and Chicago of deliberately obstructing federal immigration enforcement. It specifically targeted the Illinois Trust Act and Chicago's Welcoming City Ordinance, claiming these laws hindered communication between federal and local law enforcement, a claim the court ultimately rejected. Named in the suit were several prominent officials, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, and Cook County Sheriff Thomas Dart. However, Judge Jenkins dismissed all individual defendants, noting that the federal government had no grounds to sue them personally. Governor Pritzker, who is rumored to be considering a presidential run in 2028, celebrated the ruling as a victory for the rule of law. He posted on social media that Illinois had successfully defended its bipartisan Trust Act and reaffirmed its commitment to constitutional governance. Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke echoed that sentiment, criticizing the Trump administration's legal tactics as coercive and counterproductive. She argued that sanctuary policies help build trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities, which is essential for effective crime prevention. And this is the part most people miss. While the ruling was a setback for the Trump administration, the White House doubled down, insisting that sanctuary cities like Chicago compromise public safety. A spokesperson stated that the federal government has a duty to protect its citizens and hinted at further legal action. This lawsuit is just one in a series of aggressive moves by the Trump administration against Democratic-led jurisdictions. Similar legal battles are unfolding in New York City, Los Angeles, Colorado, and New York State, all accused of obstructing federal immigration enforcement through sanctuary laws. In fact, the Justice Department's recent lawsuit against New York City followed a violent incident involving undocumented immigrants, adding fuel to the administration's argument that sanctuary policies endanger public safety. So where do you stand? Should local governments have the right to refuse cooperation with federal immigration authorities? Or do sanctuary policies undermine national security? Drum your thoughts in the comments. This debate is far from over. Judge dismisses Trump admin's lawsuit against Chicago's sanctuary city policies. In a significant ruling, a judge in Illinois has dismissed a lawsuit initiated by the Trump administration that aimed to challenge the restrictions Chicago has placed on the collaboration between local police and federal immigration authorities. This lawsuit, which was filed back in February, claimed that the sanctuary laws in Chicago, the third largest city in the United States, obstruct federal immigration enforcement efforts. The lawsuit contended that these local regulations contradict federal laws by limiting the ability of local governments to share immigration information with federal law enforcement agencies. It also argued that such laws hinder immigration officials from identifying individuals who might be subject to deportation. Judge Lindsay Jenkins, presiding over the Northern District of Illinois, granted the motion to dismiss the case, siding with the defendants. In response to the ruling, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson expressed his satisfaction, emphasizing that the city is safer when law enforcement prioritizes the needs of its residents. He stated, "This ruling affirms what we have long known, that Chicago's Welcoming City Ordinance is lawful and supports public safety. the city cannot be compelled to cooperate with the Trump administration's reckless and inhumane immigration agenda. Governor J.B. Pritzker also welcomed the decision, taking to social media to declare Illinois just beat the Trump administration in federal court. As of now, neither the Justice Department nor the Department of Homeland Security has responded to requests for comments regarding this ruling. The Trump administration has previously filed multiple lawsuits against various state and city policies perceived as obstructing immigration enforcement, including actions against cities like Los Angeles, New York City, Denver, and Rochester, New York. In May, they even targeted 4 cities in New Jersey. Chicago, which has a strong Democratic presence, has been recognized as a sanctuary city for many years and has strengthened its sanctuary laws multiple times, particularly during Trump's first term in 2017. Interestingly, that same year, the then Republican governor, Bruce Rauner, signed additional statewide sanctuary protections into law, which put him at odds with many in his party. It's important to note that there is no universally accepted definition of sanctuary policies or sanctuary cities. Generally, these terms refer to limitations on local cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. While ICE is responsible for enforcing immigration laws across the United States, it occasionally seeks assistance from state and local authorities. But here's where it gets controversial. Are sanctuary policies truly beneficial for public safety? Or do they create a divide between local and federal law enforcement? What are your thoughts on this issue? Do you believe that cities should have the autonomy to implement such policies, or should they align more closely with federal immigration laws? Share your opinions in the comments below. Trump's sanctuary city laws face legal challenge as judge dismisses federal suit. In a bold move, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit brought by the Trump administration against the city of Chicago over its sanctuary city policies. The judge ruled that the lawsuit lacked standing and violated the 10th Amendment, which protects states' rights. This decision is sure to spark controversy and debate over immigration policy and the role of the federal government in enforcing it. The Trump administration had argued that Chicago's sanctuary policies interfered with the ability of federal authorities to enforce immigration laws. However, the judge disagreed, stating that Illinois' decision to enact these laws is protected by the 10th Amendment, which declares that any powers not specifically given to the federal government or denied to the states by the Constitution are retained by the states. This decision is a victory for supporters of sanctuary cities, who argue that local officials should not be forced to aid in federal immigration enforcement efforts. However, critics argue that sanctuary policies make it harder for federal authorities to do their job and keep Americans safe. What do you think? Should local officials be required to cooperate with federal immigration authorities? Or should they have the right to enact their own policies? Let us know in the comments below.